This was another Infosol production.
Hey, Community Talk. Good afternoon. We're going to have a special runoff election coverage tonight. We're going to take a few moments of your time tonight to kind of tune in to some local elections right here around Northeast Richland County. And we'll probably scoot out to some other ones. So I'm looking at live footage and feed right now from some of the results that are pending to come in. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We're going to try to have a host of special guests, some of the candidates out there in the field from 7, 8. We'll reach out to some of them and their watch parties to see what's going on tonight. So we do got one guest, one of my council mates on Blythewood Town Council that will be on to join us here shortly. So stay tuned. We're going to check over right now. I think Councilman Brock is on. Look like we have some technical difficulties. All right, I think we got him on. Councilman Brock, are you on? All right, until we get him back on, we're going to jump over to the next screen. We're going to see what's going on with some results right now. See what's coming in on Richland County, some of the local elections. Nothing has been reported yet from any of the precincts. In this last check as of 7:51, we do have House seat 88 numbers in and House 39 numbers in. So still early in the game. We don't have any view on the precincts right now, but we're working on that. So I'm going to drop Mr. Councilman Donald Brock in from town of Blythewood. Councilman, are you there? All right. Councilman Brock, how you doing? I think you muted, sir. You can't hear me? I can't hear you. All right, we might be having some technical difficulties. He'll drop back in here in a shortly. And let's go back and check on the results here and see what's coming in. So I want to thank each and every one of y'all for joining in today as we wait on some of the candidates at some of their watch parties this afternoon. So while we get feed and gather some numbers in and some special guests on the screens, we will bring them back as we get guests in. So in the meantime, I'm Sloan Griffin. I want to thank you all for watching Community Talk during this election season. Please be reminded that we will start a 8-week series July the 12th. Our first show will be on building healthy immune systems during COVID-19, and that's going to be July the 12th. Very special guests coming on for that. 2 doctors, local doctors from the area. They have some proven methods, and that's what they build on, holistic health. So I think we got Councilman Brock back on. We're gonna drop him back in here.
Hey,
How
is
you
it
doing,
working?
Council? Yes, sir. How you doing?
Okay, I can hear you. I'm doing very well. It's a very nice day. We got a little bit of rain in Blythewood, which was very nice. I don't know if it rained at your house, but it rained at mine, and I needed some rain. So
yeah, we needed some rain. So
definitely needed some rain. And it's
good.
also a good thing that the rain held out till after the polls closed at 7. So that was actually pretty nice.
Oh yeah, that's pleasant. So it's been good weather all day. So what have you heard about the polls today?
The only thing I've heard so far is that the lines were not near as bad as they were 2 weeks ago. Voters got in, voters got out. Richland County seemed to have solved some of their hiccups that they had 2 weeks ago. The feedback that I've gotten so far, and I have actually received a call from the Walker camp. Full disclosure, I am supporting Overture Walker, so I'll just go ahead and put that out there. Known him for almost 20 years. We went to college together. Known him before we each had kids. One of my best friends. So I've gotten a call from him saying that things went well. He feels good about it, and they're just kind of like everybody else waiting on the results.
Yeah, and like I said, I met Overture through you, and one thing that's good and interesting about being out here in this field, we meet a lot of great people.
Yes, we do.
A lot of great people along the way, and we all have folks we pulling for, but I do pull for what's best for the people, and races are races.
That's right.
We see who finish out first, and no harm felt. I'm looking at some notes now. I know Mr. Hamilton Grant, reported to me some things during the day, that they appeared to have more employees from the Richland County side, working in the polls.
Fantastic. Yeah, when 2 Tuesdays ago, I actually was a greeter at one of the stations. I was actually stationed at Brockman Elementary, and I can tell you that they had a steady line of 40 to 50 people the entire time I was there. I was there from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
There was a poll worker at the door giving people instructions, and they had gotten so backed up inside that they actually pulled her from the door and went and had her running one of the computers. And they only had 3 computers there to check in. I don't know how many precincts they had combined, 3, 4 or so. And I talked to the poll manager. He said that they were understaffed. They had people that had just not shown up. So they were doing the best they could. And, I respect that, that they were doing a hard job. That I saw at my particular agency, they'll on the group internet announce board that they were looking for poll workers. I'm quite sure that they did not have enough poll workers 2 weeks ago. Fortunately, today a lot less number of runoff races, so they were able to probably spread the number of folks that they had throughout the various districts, and it made it a little bit easier. So yeah, I expected things to be a little bit smoother today. They've got their work cut out for them in Richland County come November, though, because I expect record turnouts this fall.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Well, one thing too, that I think we kind of missed. I think as far as poll workers, I think COVID-19 and gathering that most of them, might have fit that age bracket to be concerned with, possibly catching COVID, might have steered some of them away. And that's some of my unofficial reports from some folks that I've been talking with.
You might want to refresh your screen on LTX. They just posted some numbers.
Yeah, so. But yeah, COVID-19 could have scared out some folks. So, all right, viewers, we do have some numbers in right now. So, looks like in Richland County Council District 7, looks like Gretchen Berry is leading with 70% right now.
A little over 2-1 margin there, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and that's good, as far as out there, full disclosure, I too support Gretchen Berry in this race, and I'm glad to see some positive numbers coming right now. And then in Richland County Council District 8, your guy Overture Walker is ahead right now with 58%. Hamilton Grant's at 42%. So we got some good numbers coming in right here, right now. So it'll be interesting to see, in this race here, how that's going to turn out. I think, two very popular guys. And I think it's cool to have me and you. We serve on the same council, and we're behind both of these guys here. Overture's your guy, Hamilton's my guy.
And that's okay.
Oh yeah, and I think that's great. That's why I invited you to the show, so that me and you can be on here and talk about these numbers, talk about some other stuff that that we're working on. So
we both realize at the end of the day, we both want what's best for Richland County and all the residents. And it's not just what's best for District 8 or District 7 or District 10, because when any council member at Richland County votes, their vote impacts every single Richland County citizen. So while they are separated by districts and they are voted in by districts, the people who represent the Lower Richland District, who represent the Irmo District, who represent downtown, they have an impact on the Northeast. Their votes impact what happens in Blythewood County. I know earlier today, or not really earlier, I guess a little over an hour ago, the city of Columbia passed the mask ordinance.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
And I know, I don't know if you've seen this, Councilman, but Richland County's put out some feelers, I guess, on potentially passing a county-wide face mask ordinance. So, which would, make Columbia's ordinance null at that point, but because it would apply to the entire county. I'd be curious as to what you thought about that, and if there were some viewers on the show, what they thought about that, and then I can be more than happy to give my opinion.
So, I mean, I think that, by my position, by my official title, yes, we want to stop the spread as best as possible.
Oh, absolutely.
That is primary. That is the number one focus on what we want to do. But, there are some concerns for me when it comes to mandating masks for everyone. Though I think it's great, but I think it could potentially put some folks in some financial hardships. It could put some folks in some awkward situations when having to deal with code enforcement, and just we're in a difficult time now where we're bridging gaps with law enforcement, and I think that could actually start to go backwards when you start enforcing masks and finding people during this time where jobs are scarce. Some folks are laid off, furloughed, all of the above. Some places closed and never coming back.
That's right.
So I think that, although I think it's great, but I think that, when we enact something like that, we owe the citizens to a certain degree some PPE. We have to fund and furnish some form of PPE, whether it's the first round, second round, third round. We're doing that on the state level for state agencies. We're providing massive amount of PPE in 3 rounds. So, if we're going to go that route, we need to be prepared to help the citizens out with PPE, as we done here in Blythewood, with me leading the task force. Over 2,300 bags of PPE. That was 2 masks per bag. We gave out 20 gallons of hand sanitizer. That's refilling the 2-ounce bottles, 2, 6, and 8-ounce bottles. So I think, if we start to go that route, we need to really be ready to help some of these people out that cannot buy it. And I'm looking at some comments here, Mr. Darrell, and I posted on the screen. Mr. Darrell, thank you for joining in, sir. Said that everyone needs a mask or some type of mask covering when in public. Be considerate of others. And like I said before, I do think that, we do need to do things to stop the spread of this virus. It's just the back end of it that concerns me as a representative of the people. How you feel about that, Councilman Brock?
Well, I don't disagree with Mr. Payton's statement on the surface. I think that if you're going to enact an ordinance that that then, and there's a possibility that everyone can't comply to it, I think you do have to kind of give individuals an opportunity to comply. For example, I saw in the article where City Council of Columbia was considering passing this ordinance that City Councilman Howard Duvall had mentioned a possible fine of $500 and 30 days in jail. Are you serious?
Yes.
That is excessive punishment for not wearing a mask. And I don't know if he backed off that comment, but we have laws against extreme punishments for crime. And that's pretty extreme in my opinion. A $500 fine if I'm walking down the street and an officer cites me a citation. So, I understand why individuals would say, okay, you're not wearing the mask for you, you're wearing it to me to protect me. Yes, I get that. I understand that. But if the city wants to enact that ordinance, or the county, they need to make masks readily available for everyone to have. Because like you said, you may not be able to afford a mask. There were times when you couldn't even find them.
Yeah.
Like everyone went to Lowe's and they were buying them, and Lord, they were selling them on eBay and other places like that. Like people were, I'm trying to remember, what do they call that? Price gouging or something.
Price gouging, yep.
Something to that effect. Yeah. So, and if you're going to start mandating these requirements, then we've got to find a way to make sure that the protective equipment is placed in the public domain so that the public can actually get access to it. Like I think we've done a great job up here in Blythewood, and you've spearheaded this, and we can't thank you enough, of making sure that the PPE is available for those people who want it and those people who need it. I picked up a couple of extra masks last night as I left the manor, just so that I would have more, so that I will make a more conscious effort when I go out in public to actually wear a mask. I, full disclosure, do not like wearing the mask, but at the same time, I understand that it's not necessarily always for my protection, it's for other people's protection as well. As far as I know, I haven't had the virus. That doesn't mean I'm not an asymptomatic carrier. So,
and I think as far as leaders, and I talked to other elected officials around us, when we start making that move to give out masks and other hand sanitizer, we have enough to do a second round. We done great that first round, so we're looking at doing a phase 2.
And I believe if Richland County passes an ordinance where it requires it countywide, we have no choice.
Yeah. But, we have a choice, because I think it's going to boil down to, will Richland County pay for masks for residents? Unlike us, we didn't discriminate. Let me put that full disclosure out.
You showed up, you got one. You didn't.
You got one. Now you got it. We had people show up from Broad River Road. Come get your mask. So
that's okay. They're residents of Richland County. That's okay.
Now you got it. So we didn't discriminate. We didn't ask for IDs and all of that stuff. So we seen the need. We supplied it, and we done great in that first round for a small town. We done great, and I think that was leadership in that realm.
Lead by example. That's right.
There you got it. So I don't think they updated any of these numbers yet. I'm just looking back.
Well, they've
refreshed the screen.
It looks like Miss Barron, with 2 precincts reporting, has extended her lead. She's still holding strong, though, with 1,500 votes cast. Overture continues to lead Mr. Grant with 1,500 votes cast. Chip Jackson.
That's another one. Yeah.
Miss Farr, a little over 150 vote lead there with probably 1 precinct reporting. Dahlia Myers is an incumbent, and based on everything so far, I think she finished second in the general, and she's behind Miss English. Could be the upset of the night. So I don't believe it would come as a surprise. It would not come as a surprise to us living in Blythewood if Miss Barron unseats Miss Kennedy. Some other people, but to us, but you and I and other folk in the Blythewood area would not be surprised.
No. And me and you are new to this. We're new to council. We served on the planning commission. and we served in other capacities in the community. But when you get fresh ideas on the table, we make life run, and we're
Yeah.
seeing it up here in Blythewood.
Yep.
We're doing things that is incredible right now.
And
So-
there's potential for 4 new county council individuals.
Yes. Yes.
There's at least going to be 1 new one because Mr. Walker and Mr. Grant will be freshmen on council.
Yes.
But if Miss Barron wins and Miss Myers wins, there's at least and obviously Derek Pugh is going to
Yep.
be it's the presumed next councilman from District 2, more than likely. So that could be up to 4 new members on Richland County Council. That would be fantastic.
Yes. Yep.
Nothing wrong with new faces.
No. So
I am not mascoting Keith Bailey.
you seen that?
Yeah, I just saw that mask hoarding.
Former Mayor Keith Bailey. I hope everything's going well with your father out there in Cali with the surgery. So praying for a quick and speedy recovery. And when you come on back here, we'll grab a stick at Blythewood Cigar and Wine. I'm just on free advertising.
Plug right there. That's a cheap plug.
All right, John, I want my free cigar. That was 2 seconds of advertising.
Well, we might could find somebody to climb up on that water tower and paint Blythewood Cigar, Wine, and Cigar Shop.
Okay, all right. So when it shows up, we know who done it. Everybody out there in Blythewood, if it shows up,
no,
it's my council mate.
No, it's not me. I told you I'm deathly afraid of heights. Deathly afraid.
Yeah.
But I do like the water tower. I'll go on the record and say it. I like the message up there. It's a fun message. But
yeah. Hey, Mr. Darrell. Yep, you're absolutely right. Time for career politicians to be bye-bye.
I actually I don't know what you think, Councilman Griffin, but I actually like the idea of term limits.
Hey, look,
we have them out here, gentleman's agreement, but we do.
Yeah. You can't sit in these seats forever and be effective. You just can't. You have to move to the side at some point and let fresh blood come in and do what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might have some candidates dropping in shortly, just
great.
to step by and say hey and all that good stuff. So in the meantime, so Councilman, like last night was a great meeting. That was great.
I walked away very pleased.
Yeah. That was a great council meeting. So, and that just shows where we are and where we're growing as a town. Where we at? That just shows us where we're going, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We want smart growth. We want look like screens flash to update. Let's see here. I'm trying to keep up with this at the same time. Look like it flashed on me. Okay. So we're still holding.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, last night was a good meeting. Some things that were very unpopular, like the water agreement, and things like that. So, I think moving forward, we got our work cut out, and we're gonna have to hold Winsboro Water to the feet to the fire.
Absolutely.
Gonna have to make them, go to work on the terms of the contract. And moving forward, we need to make sure we don't let up on that. And I think that's important, that we can get complacent with knowing is we got water. I think the fear was the water taps would turn off. My thing was that, I wanted two agreements on the table, at least be transparent to the other, and work hard at it. We have to work hard at those things to get those leaders in the city to want to come to the playground. But it is what it is,
Yep.
and we'll make it work.
We will, and we, as long as we keep focused that we are ultimately the customer.
Yep.
And I do not subscribe to the old saying of the customer is always right. I don't believe that at all, because the customer can be the worst. A customer can be the worst possible person that walks into your business. However, we are a very large customer, and we have a very large voice. And we have a contract that is written and signed and sealed and will be delivered. And there is no reason that we can't hold the supplier, accountable for doing what they agreed to do, whether it's, making sure the water is up to the quality that we expect, or making sure that meters are read on a timely basis. I mean, these are small things that, they should not have a problem doing. And if they do have a problem doing, then we're going to have to find a way to either make it work, have concessions granted, or, as you say, find somebody else to come in who wants to play ball.
Yeah, yeah. And that, like I say, I understand history, and old history, and I do think that history is good in some cases, but, my thing was that, look, sometimes new faces, new players have to go to certain tables and go to bats. And that's what I really was preparing for, is just send new faces up. Let the city officials down the road from us know that it's new faces up here.
Yep.
Let them know that it's new faces. We wanna talk, we wanna sit at the table, and we want to be players in the game, when it comes to servicing our citizens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, and we're going to need that bigger support as we start to develop this industrial park. My new adventure that I'm going to propose, being a water park. We're going to need things. We're going to need those infrastructure upgrades and support, to make things like that happen.
Yeah, and I think that if we continue to propose bold and new ideas such as that, then it definitely gives players like Columbia an incentive to truly move into this market and be competitive.
Yep.
Because if you need, I don't know, millions of gallons, if we ultimately can convince the public that this would be a worthwhile venture, to do a sports complex / water park playground, then you're going to need millions of gallons of water, several months out of the year. And at that level, it's probably worth their while.
Yep.
I mean, they're in the business of selling water. Well,
Yep.
you've got a customer that needs millions of gallons. You probably want that business, especially if you have excess capacity that you need to sell off. I mean, just from a pure business perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah. I think we got another guest in the waiting room.
We might.
Oh, I see a name up here. Oh, all right.
I can't say whether or not I sent the link.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and bring him in on this room here for a second. So, community talk, it is my honor to invite to the table Blythewood's finest, Mr. Mira Franklin. Let's get him on
Evening,
here.
gentlemen. It's good to be here.
Oh, look at there.
Hey,
I love
how you
this
doing?
picture.
It's right there. Right
Yeah,
There you
unfortunately,
go.
we didn't have the opportunity to go get one today.
No.
No.
I tried to go buy one.
Oh, you gonna buy one? Okay.
Yeah.
$9.99 right here, fresh.
There you go. So, how was the polls today, Mr. Mir?
Hey, when I went, it was about 5 p.m. The rainstorm had just come through. My wife and I went in. It took literally 3 minutes to vote. It was great. Much better than the primary a couple of weeks ago, for sure.
Okay. Cool deal. Cool deal. Well, we're glad to have you on. We just kind of had some recap conversation about last night. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, we got a comment here from former Mayor Keith Bailey said only Columbia can supply that much water to my water park. Thank you, Keith. Thank you,
Well, we'll
Keith.
make sure that Keith helps you build it.
Yes. Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, can I ask you, can you give me your projections for tonight?
Oh boy, I'm excited.
Oh,
That's why I came on tonight to see what we were talking about as far as the election goes. But I know Gretchen Barron was always my candidate. I don't like to join in a primary because it's always taboo to do so. But I'm so glad to see her leading with 38% of the precincts reporting, is what my laptop says. And of course, any new voice on the county council is going to be good for the town of Blythewood, one of the fastest growing and largest communities in northern Richland County. Uh, we're expanding by the week as more and more developments come in, more businesses getting ready to open to Zaxby's, potentially a Starbucks coming in. So new voices. It's time for change, and that change is not a bad thing. And
no.
I'm really pulling for Gretchen Barron. I'm in her district, so that's why I'm specifically speaking for her. It's safe to do so now because the polls are closed. So we're counting ballots, and I'm hoping that we get as many newcomers as possible to bring a fresh new leadership perspective into Richland County and specifically to the Blythewood area.
So I have to ask you why I got you on. So paint to me a 5-year vision of yours for Blythewood.
Very, very good. The same platform I ran on, Blythewood, we have to get the traffic under control and the infrastructure. We're getting new schools. That's working great. We need to look at more recreation facilities, the same as my platform, more openness in government, which we just recently, as you probably spoke of tonight, uh, we're um, using technology now to video so people who aren't able to see our public meetings can come back after the fact, but also more recreation facility. And we've got to continue that bold movement forward. If it means taking municipal bonds out to do a recreation center, a water park, that's a fantastic idea. A sports complex that will accommodate all our children, and we don't have to turn them away when once the rosters fill up for the number of teams to play
Yep.
on just 3 fields. Had a call today with Richland County Recreation, and we spoke a little bit about that. They have some new leadership over there, and they're willing to come out after the COVID crisis has kind of dissipated a little and walk the ground with us to see what it is we're talking about. And it's a shame when we have our young girls who are playing softball here in Blythewood, and then they have to move that entire organization to North Springs, which is still in Richland County. But when you're in Blythewood and you come home after work and you have to have your child at practice by 5:30,
Yep.
there's no way with the traffic that you're going to drive from Blythewood all the way down Clemson Killian Road and get to softball practice on time. So we're looking at expanding facilities here. We spoke about it at last night's council meeting. The Red Gate community, 141 and a half acres, possibly. We also talked about some more smaller venues, the 4.5 acres just to the north of Doco Meadows, possibly a football field, soccer field, something of that nature. And Councilman Brock led the charge last night talking about spending our monies. I opted to do it for economic development over the next year to try to capture some economic development revenues lost through the
Yep.
COVID crisis. But I am all for looking at bold new ways to the same way Mayor Bailey and the council during his administration decided to take the risk, to think boldly, and to take out grants and loans and foundation and fundraising all together. And now it's time to do something bigger and get a municipal bond, uh, reach out 25, $30 million, possibly a water park, a modern sports complex will attract kids from all over the state, not just our local area.
Yep.
And they will pay for themselves, like we've talked about with you,
They
Councilman Griffin.
absolutely will.
Oh
They
yeah.
will pay for themselves over time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look last weekend, my 14-year-old boy played travel ball. I had to drive to Lexington. We ate lunch in Lexington. I had to pay $7. My wife paid $7 to get in to watch our son play in a Lexington facility. And then we drove home. Next week, this coming weekend, same thing. I'm going back to Lexington. All that money is going into that Lexington. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But when we have an opportunity to do that here in Blythewood, which is central to the state of South Carolina, we're closer to the major arteries of traffic in Blythewood than anyone. I-77, I-20, I-26, I-95 is not too far away. So we need to capitalize here some new modern facilities and just think boldly and go and do it. Not raise taxes, not put a millage on folks here in Blythewood, but think outside the box. Let investors invest in Blythewood and bring that productivity and economic development here.
Yeah. I agree. And I appreciate you laying that out, and we have been talking about bold ideas for at least since I came on council. I think I walked in with these magnificent ideas of creating water parks and some other things like that. And I'm checking out other comments that's rolling in here. But yeah, so I agree, sir, and I think we're headed in the right direction. And I think we got a good group of council to lead this town into the next generation.
Absolutely.
One thing too that I do think, by now, I think leaders in the other municipalities around us, are starting to know that there's some new Blythewood. And that's what, I've been saying to myself, it's a new Blythewood because of the leadership. So give us an opportunity, meet with us, sit down with us, and let's work together because we all want one thing, and that's the best for the citizens that we represent. So I'm pulling up numbers. See, I don't see any changes on my end.
Well, WIS has a little bit more data. It shows with 38% reporting Gretchen Barrett, 1225 to Gwendolyn Kennedy's 496, about a 725 vote lead. District 8, 32% reporting Walker, 1250, Grant 820, a little over 400 there. Jackson continues to lead far with 13% reporting, and English over Myers with 40% reporting, 63-37. So if these numbers hold, then we will have potentially 4 new councilwomen and women on Richland County Council, which if there's 12 districts, I mean, that's a 33% change. I mean, that's fantastic. Younger people too.
Oh, yeah.
With Derek and Overture potentially, Greg Miss Barron. So, a lot of new faces, a lot of new fresh faces, new ideas.
Yeah, and I'm pulling that feed right now from WIS.
I wish they would tell you which precincts have reported.
And they're doing a great job now. I don't know if you gentlemen saw after the original primary 2 weeks ago, because Richland County Elections Commission needs all the kudos they can get nowadays with the struggles they had with the COVID-19 virus. But they have a nice display now, a rundown, total numbers. It's much better than it has been in the past elections. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They weren't playing with a full deck two weeks ago, Mr. Mayor. They had a lot of people that were supposed to come that didn't show up. They probably got more voters than they anticipated.
Right.
Combining precincts didn't help.
Right.
So, yeah, they had a couple of they were behind the 8 ball on several issues last 2 Tuesdays ago, and give them 2 weeks and hopefully they've got some of those issues worked out, and we all know that there's going to be a big turnout in November without question.
Oh, yeah.
So, this could be these past 2 weeks have been a good trial run for them.
Right.
huge turnout in November.
Always.
There will be.
Always during the presidential
Huge.
election.
I
Always.
think it'll be bigger than there's. It could potentially be a record. It was a record 4 years ago. I think we'll break that record this year, and I hope we do. I really do.
Mhm.
Everyone needs to come out and exercise their civic duty and vote.
Mhm.
If you don't vote, you really can't complain.
Well, I said, looks like we're gonna have possible change here in Richland County, and that will be for the good, in my opinion, and in you guys' opinion. So I mean, moving forward, with change, we still got the penny tax, piece. I'm sure that'll be front page, and these folks coming in November is, their outlook on infrastructure. I know we're looking at the Creech Road. I think we looking at moving Creech Road to being number one on our list from McNulty. And for various reasons on that side, the growth that we're seeing over there. That's going to be very interesting, coming down to the penny tax and, us proposing, everybody proposing roads and wanting things moved to the top of the list. What's your take on that, Mr. Mayor? I know you probably got more ear what's going on than me and Brock at this moment.
Well, I mean, you've laid it out very well. The first thing you talked about are the priorities within Blythewood, and we spoke about it at our meeting last night. But the McNulty improvements are more aesthetics. Put some sidewalks, maybe some parallel parking on the streets, because that's our town center district. And we've talked about it right there in front of Scott Benny's and Dollar General and McNulty's and all that kind of rough road, get that nice and smooth. But then when we started thinking about it, Creech Road, especially with the new hotel being built right off of I-77, as they come out of to leave the hotel, the SCDOT is making them turn to the right, and they cannot turn left and come back out to Blythewood Road. So that poses a safety issue. Now you're coming out of the hotel, you got to turn right. So what do? Do you whip into Hardee's? Do you go across? Do you turn left into BP? Do you go down to San Jose restaurant and turn around? It would just be much more logical and safe to say extend Creech Road all the way past San Jose, all the way past the real estate agent, all the way past Holiday Inn Express, and then route it. And if you look at it from a high perspective, like a Google
Mhm.
Earth map, let's say, you'll see the natural turn, and it runs down the power lines, and the road would come out between the St. Mark's Lutheran Church on Highway 21 and the Blythewood High School football stadium. So what that will do is not only relieve some traffic, because if you're coming home and you take the 77 exit 27, and you're going to the right, and you're trying to go right on Highway 21, now you can turn on Creech Road. Just miss all that traffic waiting on the light to go down Langford. While we're waiting on that improvement, that railroad crossing, hopefully that will come one day to connect Blythewood Road with Langford Road, it would help alleviate a lot of that traffic to get back on track. Also, it's a safe issue, and it's not that much tougher to wait on the McNulty improvements. And when we do that Creech Road extension, if SCDOT prioritizes that for us, and our new council members, hint, hint, on county council, put this in the forefront, that will also open up real estate to be available for more economic development in there. Much needed and requested restaurants, shops, things that will bring more people into Blythewood, more than we have now. So I'm glad we talked about that as a council last night. It's logical, and it's not too far fetched. Let's just create that venue, and then we'll pave and put sidewalks on McNulty as the next step.
Yeah. And it's good you brought that up because I'm still running my poll on restaurants in Blythewood. And you know what I got the most of?
Can we get a guess?
Sit
Go
down
ahead.
with tablecloths. Sit down restaurant.
Keep on going. Keep on. Has something to do with famous.
Popeyes?
Oh,
Famous.
not think pies. cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. That would be nice.
Good luck with that. That's not going to happen. But we don't have the density for that.
Now that might come in the industrial park.
You see that? See,
because you got to be able to get to it quickly when you get off the exit. So
yes. Come on now, Brock. You got to have faith that we can bring
the closest one is South Park, I think, in Charlotte.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to get you with a little bit more faith to bring some cheesecake here.
Well, I always thought that a PDQ would be fantastic here, but but Zaxby's beat them to the punch. So I like PDQ.
Well, we got the QT coming right down on the next exit.
Yes,
get your pizza. Get you.
They have really good food at QT. It's surprising.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
I grew up around the QTs. Yes, they do.
Really good food.
So,
they have every snack and every drink and frozen drink, and you can mix them. I mean, it's a kid's delight to go in there. It's like going into the convenience store at 5 years old, when I was 5 years old in Blacksburg with my grandfather, and they gave you $1 and you could, walk out with a handful of candy. Now you can go into QT with like $3 and your kids can walk out with a handful of candy. At least ours kids. Yours can't walk quite yet, but he will.
Yeah, not yet. Thank you. But when he do, we will make sure he visits QT.
Oh yeah, QT's fantastic.
But you know what? Though, look, QT actually pays pretty good.
Yeah, they do.
From being from the upstate, the QTs up there, I think they pay $15 an hour for part-time employees, and like $50,000 a year for assistant managers. It's like, yeah, pretty good, stable jobs. But we do have some sit-down restaurants like Sam Kendall's over in the PD, Italian restaurants and whatnot. So we got some work to do.
At some point, I wouldn't mind seeing a steakhouse, a Longhorns, or a Texas Roadhouse, or somebody like that, or even a local mom and pop store showing up in the Blythewood. I think that the community could support it, especially if that can come in conjunction with the other assets that we're looking to bring in. Because if if we were to put our dream complex wherever we put it, and then you've got commercial and retail right there, I mean, those spots are going to be happening spots. There's going to be a tremendous amount of traffic in and out. A convenience store selling gasoline and sunflower seeds and Gatorade is going to do extremely well, especially when it's hot as everyone knows it gets in Blythewood in the summertime. So where do you want to go? Well, I'm going to take my kids to the water park, and we're going to go play, and then we're going to buy a couple of Gatorades on the way in and on the way out.
Yep.
Got QT, and then we're going to eat steak at Longhorn Steakhouse, and then we're going.
Hey, that sounds like a day right there. That sounds fantastic. We're going to send you the bill, though, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we'll send you the bill. I get my custom pizza from QT and send it to you.
I hear you.
And my gas.
Let's just get us a Root Chris out there too. So you got to pay $9.99 for green beans in addition to your $7.99 potato to go with your $53 steak.
Good though.
Oh man. But now we got some real good choices of restaurants. I mean, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, we got some things. And Keith Bailey just said fine dining changes the culture in the town. And I agree. Changes the layout.
Oh, well, here we go.
Got some numbers.
Yep, there's a couple of races have been fully reported. With 11 of 13 precincts reporting, Gretchen Barron, Miss Barron leads Miss Kennedy 1669 to 633. I believe it's safe to call that race at this point. With all precincts reporting, my man, Overture Walker, will more than likely be the next county representative from District 8. He defeats Mr. Grant, that's kind of funny, 1669 to 1174, 5941. Chip Jackson will retain his seat more than likely, with all 16 precincts reporting 1095 to 3 to 938, 54-46. That's a close race with a little over 2,000 votes. And District 10, with 12 of 15 precincts reporting, it's probably safe to say that Miss English will defeat the incumbent, Dahlia Myers. She currently leads 62-38 with a little over 2,000 votes cast. So we are going to get some fresh faces on Richland County Council. Fantastic news.
And absolutely. And this is a result, in my opinion, of voters holding their elected officials accountable, finally. The penny tax, very controversial. People debated both ways. It's just another, and then it was sold to us as the voters at the time. Oh, it's just a penny. Just every dollar you spend is just one penny. Ended up being multi-million-dollar slush fund. The council members did not focus on it, and the money was misspent, misallocated. I mean, you name it. And this, I love to see this because voters finally stepped back and said, what are they doing? They have this huge fund. I mean, we have all these needs. We have these elected representatives who know of our needs. In our case, it's traffic, it's congestion. We're the most, the fastest growing municipality in the county, if not the whole Midlands. And then our parks and recs. We've talked to every leader in the county that would listen, and they didn't listen. And I'm so glad that now we have these fresh faces coming in.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more better. And just pull the same feed you got, Brock. And it looks like we can call a congratulations to Mr. Councilman Chip Jackson.
Yeah.
In District 9. And also congratulations to Mr. Overture Walker and District 8. And with 11 out of 13 showing with Gretchen Barrett, 85% of the precincts reporting, we almost can, really go ahead and call that one for Miss Gretchen Barrett. So we are showing new faces, and that's what we want to do. Miss Gretchen lived, not too far from us. She knows the issues, and she's not a stranger of getting out there going to work for those issues. She's been out there really working hard, campaigning, and I fully supported that campaign along the way. And I am so glad to see that it's going to work out for her. So, okay.
Super, super, super excited.
Oh, yes, I am so excited. So, with that being said, gentlemen, looks like, we had a great outcome there. And I know these candidates are celebrating and everything. And I will bring Gretchen back on later on next month and have a conversation with her on her success. I will also send that out to your guy, Councilman Brock, Mr. Overture Walker. Get him on here, and so it looks like we're gonna have some new blood, and I am so excited. So guys, it's been great. It's almost at my 9 o'clock hour, and Brock didn't buy any commercial slots. He just said keep going straight through. So I will send you a bill from Community Talk. Just look out for it.
Put it on my tab, sir.
Your tab. All right. Well, I'll make sure I find that tab first.
Right. There's one thing it's one thing to send a bill, but it's another thing to collect. So
yeah. Oh, we're gonna collect this bill. So
we'll go to Neptune Island. We'll take us a field trip.
Hey, look, one thing too before we go on Neptune Island. So they have billboards all around us. So when you go up the Rock Hill coming back this way, there's billboards. And I'm like, man, that would be nice to have our water park spread out like that all the way up to Greenville, coming this way and at the state line. So it really helped me see where we could be and where we will be one day. So
full disclosure, they're actually running banner ads on WIS website. I'm looking at one right now.
see?
So yeah, they're in our backyard.
Yeah, so they're right in our backyard. We'll be in their backyard tomorrow. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been great talking to each and every one of you. We spent a lot of time together yesterday. So hopefully you guys got some rest. And we'll do this again one day soon. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Y'all be safe and enjoy your family. We'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Community Talk. It's been my pleasure tonight. We had our hour coverage on the elections here in Richland County. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and call it tonight. And looks like the outlets have officially called District 8 for Overture Walker, District 9 for Councilman Chip Jackson. And we're still waiting on 10, but it looks like we can call it for District 7 for my great friend Gretchen Barrett. So we will reach out to them and congratulate them accordingly. So it has been my extreme pleasure to come before you all one last time, unstripped it, as you've seen tonight. And that's how we like to do it. But we will be back in orderly fashion with a lot of new things, a lot of new conversations. Like I said, our first show will be July the 12th at 5 p.m. We're going to keep it on Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. Starting July the 12th for 8 weeks. And then we'll take a little break and then we'll get it geared up to start again. So it has been my honor and pleasure to be able to talk to you during the election cycle this go around. Look forward to great new and exciting things in the future from us online, bringing in some new faces, some new people. It's going to be fun. Stay tuned for everything leading out. So again, congratulations to all the winners tonight all over the state. And we look forward to seeing you again. So with that being said, I'd like to close out with this. Until next time, if you be good to God, then God will be good to you. Stay safe. Remember, wear your mask. Stay protected. Get your immune system up. COVID-19 is real. We'll see you on July the 12th. Y'all have a great night.